The Habs lose again as they've lost in back-to-back games, but there were some positives tonight, some goals from some unexpected sources. There were lots of things to go through in this game, positive and negative, and I'm going to be breaking them all down here on this episode of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to this game reaction edition of Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse, and quickly before we get into the video, we are on the road to 3,000 subscribers. No, not even 3,000. We want 5,000 subscribers, and over 80% of you guys who are watching are not subscribed. You guys have been loving the videos. Your watch time on these videos is going through the roof. Clearly, you guys are having fun being here on the channel watching us, and we want you to help us get to 5,000 subscribers as fast as we can. We got to over 2,000 in just about a month. Why can't we hit 5,000 before the new year? I know you guys can help us out. Well, let's get into this game reaction. I mean, this game was interesting. It was very fun. There was a lot going on. Montreal had a lot of shots. Columbus is a fast and fun team to watch too. Unfortunately, the final result didn't go our way. That's true, but there were a lot of positives in this game. Number one thing, I commented on this in the last game against New Jersey. It felt like we were coming out flat after getting scored on, but that changed tonight. In previous games this season, that wasn't a problem for Montreal. For the most part, this season, after we get scored on, we come out and have great comeback shifts. And tonight was no different. It was exactly what we expect from the boys, and even though we were down 2-0 after the first period, we knew. I'm sure Martin St. Louis in the locker room was saying to the boys, like, these were some unlucky goals. That first goal, a lob from the blue line that Monty is just trying to deflect into the corner, hits right off Jordan Harris, who's standing next to the net for some reason, and goes right in off of him. It was an easy save. He was just deflecting it away. Bad luck off the defenseman. A later goal, a one-timer that wasn't really that great of a one-timer. It really didn't go where the Columbus player wanted it to go, and it snuck right through the legs of Montembeault because he wasn't expecting a knuckle puck. He wasn't expecting a change-up. It just went right between his legs, and next thing you know, Montreal's down 2-0. But all the same, I thought we had a solid first period. I mean, Anderson was playing really well. He had a great chance in front at one point. Gallagher looked really fast. Like, he was flying up the boards on a couple plays. I remember he took it from our zone all the way in behind the net on one play. Caulfield looked good. He was trying to create his own chances, but unfortunately nothing really went our way in the first. But it's the second period, the period that has really plagued Montreal all season. The second period is when we came out strong and we really went to work. I mean, we scored pretty early in the second period, but not after. It was a little bit after some better chances and some things that maybe didn't go the Habs' way. I mean, Caulfield early had a slap shot that knocked the stick right out of Korpisalo's hands, and you know that could have been a goal easily if it didn't just catch the shaft of the stick. But a couple minutes later, Evgeny Dadonov got a cross check. This part was not funny because people got hurt, but it's something you don't see every day in an NHL game. And if you were tuning in, you probably noticed it. When Dadonov got the cross-checking penalty, it wasn't a great cross-check. It wasn't dirty. It was worthy of the 2 minutes. Is what it is. Glad to see Andrew Peeke back on the bench after going into the boards hard. But when he went into the boards, he clipped the ref. And that referee had to leave the game. They brought in a substitute ref after that hit, which is something you rarely see in NHL games. It happens sometimes, but it was an interesting thing to see. I hope the referee's okay. And like I said, glad to see that Peeke is okay. But after that penalty, we had a good penalty kill, to be honest. And after it, we were pressuring hard. You just felt like the floodgates were about to open. Montreal was about to score because the amount of pressure that we put on Columbus in that second period after being down 2-0, after killing off a penalty, was amazing. And, guess what happened? Excuse me. We had a broken play that came into the offensive zone. Slavkovsky, the power play unit, I believe was out there. Was the power play unit? Or no, sorry, yes. No, Slavkovsky was out there. And the bad turnover from Columbus up along the boards, it was kind of a broken play. Slavkovsky tips it in. Suzuki is almost like in front of the net. He falls down, kind of like loses his stick and just pokes it away. And off this weird broken play off a Columbus turnover from their goalie, Korpisalo, it just ends up on the stick of Jordan Harris in the slot. Little slight toe drag and snipes it over the glove for his first goal of the season. Jordan Harris tonight played outstanding. I mean, there's some talk now about who's going to get sent down to the minors when Mike Matheson comes back. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Maybe it was talked about in some other videos that you've watched. But the Habs have asked Jonathan Kovacevic to look for a house in Montreal. And that to me indicates that he's probably going to be staying with the team. Now, again, I know their farm team's in Laval, and it's not that far away if we do send him down, but there was some reasonable speculation saying that maybe Kovacevic is going to be staying up. So does that mean that one of Harris or Jack-Eye have to be sent down? I don't think they'll waive Weidman. I think it seems like he's a very good locker room presence, gives the guys some good advice, so I'm not sure about him. We're really not sure anymore. But after tonight's performance, I think it's even harder to say that Jordan Harris is the guy that deserves to go down. He played amazing. He scored his first goal of the season, and it was a snipe of a shot. And next thing you know, Montreal's in this game again. It's 2-1. And even after that, Montreal looked very, very good. They had a power play. They looked good. Caulfield had some really good chances. Montreal was really moving the puck well. We were creating awesome chances, but I got to give credit. I'll probably do it again later in this video because the third period was nuts. But Joonas Korpisalo was outstanding tonight for Columbus. He stood on his head. He made some saves that no goalie has any business making. And he really kept Columbus in this, even though they were getting outshot for basically the entire game. But like I said, after Montreal was down 2-0, they fought back and they pressured and they finally scored. And after they scored, they were hyped again and they went and they kept on scoring. So not too long after that, Montreal get a power play. They looked good. Then a little bit after that, Montreal gets another power play. It was funny because it was 4-on-4 for a bit. Montreal got a penalty. Columbus got a penalty. It was a bit of 4-on-4. Caden Gooley is just skating behind his own net. Back and forth, and on one time, Columbus guy, I forget who it was, but he got his stick right up, and maybe a high stick? I'm not really sure. It got definitely up on Gooley, not sure if it hit him in the face. The ref sure seemed to think he did. There didn't seem to be much of an argument. It just looked a little weird on the replay. But Montreal goes right back on the power play with very little time left in the period. Starts going okay, but now we have a draw very late in the period. Montreal wins it back. We get a quick possession right to Josh Anderson in the slot, and he fires it. I believe it deflected off someone, maybe through Korpisalo's legs, but Montreal's back in this 2-2. He scored with 2.1 seconds left in the second period. I mean, Josh Anderson, when he scores, the goals are meaningful. He scored with 17 seconds left, I believe, in the season opener versus Toronto to put us up. He ties the game with 2.1 seconds left in the second period. Whether you like him or hate him, you got to admit that Josh Anderson has made some very, very clutch plays for Montreal. Even going back to that cup final run, that goal when Fleury flubbed the puck, his overtime winner to win our only game of the series against Tampa Bay. The man is clutch. It's what he's meant to do. So he goes out there and he scores that power play goal with 2 seconds left. And another quick note about that second period, Arbor Jack-Eye got into a fight. And it's always fun to see Jack-Eye fight. He dropped the mitts with Olivier. And it was interesting. Jack-Eye was dominating the fight early on. A few haymakers right to Olivier. But Olivier fought back. Credit to him. He landed some good punches on Jack-Eye as well. Seemed to me like a pretty even fight. It was a really fun fight to watch. A lot of punches landed. So if you're a fan of fights in hockey, that's one I would recommend go watching. Lots of haymakers. Lots of just fun fighting. They both went to the box. Both teams were happy. But now it's 2-2, and we're heading into the third period. And the third period is where things just got absolutely wild. And, I was trying to do a couple other things while watching this game, and I couldn't, because in the third period, it needed my full attention. I mean, the game went into the third period at 2-2, and if you see, the final score was 6-4 for Columbus. So what on earth happened? The score was 4-2 in the third. Well, if you didn't catch the game, I'll do a quick recap here. If you did catch the game, you'll hear my reaction to how Montreal dealt with this third period. So early on, Dadonov and Monahan had some sick chances. There was a dump in, and it kind of went weird off the backboards, and Dadonov got it right in front of the net all alone. Great save by Korpisalo. Couldn't put it past him. Just a little bit later, there's sort of a broken play. The puck gets loose in front, and Monahan, with an open net in front of him, reaches out with his stick, but Korpisalo again was there to make the stop. He was making some incredible saves on a lot of scrambles, a lot of turnovers from Columbus, but he was keeping him in it. But Montreal, you knew, as the announcers were saying, the pressure was on. They kept playing outstanding, and it broke open finally. Montreal gets out of their zone. I believe it might have been Kovacevic, just flips the puck up from his own blue line, or just between his own blue line and center ice, right into the offensive zone, perfectly onto Mike Hoffman's stick, who creates the offensive possession. A great pass. And then he sends it back to the point, and I believe it was Dvorak, kind of comes in, fakes the shot, finds Gallagher wide open with his right-handed shot on the right side of the net, and he pots it far side into the open net to put Montreal up 3-2. I thought it was just an amazing play, because that flip pass that created the whole possession from, I believe it was Kovacevic, I could be wrong, but it was one of our defensemen, and Hoffman to keep it in the zone, not to shoot right away like he sometimes does. Dvorak, beautiful, like little hesitation right to Gallagher for the open net goal. The problem was, right after this goal, we had a highlight reel goal from Sean Kuraly, and as a Habs fan, you just kind of had to sit back and watch that because it was great, but it was also painful because he jumped through. It kind of started with Dadonov not being sure what to do while on the back check, and what ended up happening was it was Kuraly versus 3 Habs, and then it was quickly Kuraly versus 2 Habs, and he saw them kind of not sure what to do with each other. He powered up and he jumped between them, and he had a nice little deke to the forehand, and he put it over Montembeault's shoulder. Just a highlight reel goal from Kuraly. It was amazing, but if you're the Habs defense, you can't let someone do that. You close that gap, you hit him, you poke the puck off his stick. They just kind of both stood there. He said, well, if you're just going to stand there, I'm going to go right between you and put myself into the top 10, TSN top 10 in the morning. It was a frustrating goal to watch, especially, like I said, after Montreal has been playing so well after goals for and against. They come out and they let that happen on a brutal back-checking sequence. And that wasn't the end of it. Right after this, just a minute or two after, Columbus wins a faceoff in the offensive zone. It's Kuraly who wins the faceoff, the guy who just scored the goal, right to Olivier, the man who fought Jack-Eye earlier in the game, and he just puts a perfect shot top corner right in the slot. I mean, right off the faceoff, perfect shelf job. Not a whole lot Monty can do. It was on his blocker side. Fine. That's the kind of goal you just kind of accept if you're a fan, but it was rough because Montreal went up 3-2, and or no, sorry, it was 3-3, and Columbus goes up 5-3, and you're just like, I don't know. That goal was just so demoralizing when it happened, especially after the Kuraly goal. The Kuraly goal was like, oh, God, man, like that's gonna be on the highlight reel. You're a Habs player, and you're like, oh crap. Well, we got to come out and play well, and you get scored on again. But all was not lost, because immediately after that snipe from Olivier, Nick Suzuki, off the face-off from that goal, off the face-off, Suzuki skates into the offensive zone all alone, just picks up the puck off the face-off, goes in, and banks it off Korpisalo's pads to put it into the net. It's now 5-4, and this game is going insane. I don't know what is happening at this point because it was 3 goals in, I'm not sure how long it was, but it was just a couple minutes. That Suzuki goal could not have possibly been more than, 10 seconds after the Olivier goal on the other end? So now it's 5-4 and Montreal has life. You're like, holy crap, this is not over. And of course it's Suzuki. It's his second point of the game, the man who has been the most consistent player on the Habs, the most goals on the team, the most points on the team, our captain, our leader, and he was amazing again tonight. I'm probably going to put him in the thumbnail. If I didn't, then honestly, it's my fault because he should be in the thumbnail. He played outstanding. But then, of course, we pull the goalie and Columbus ends up with an empty netter. I believe it was Kuraly, if I'm not mistaken. And that was it. We pulled the goalie again while down 6-4. We had a lot of good chances. Like, to be honest, even with the goalie pulled, Montreal was really doing well at just firing the pucks at the net, really creating themselves some good chances. But Korpisalo locked it down, and Columbus's defense was blocking some shots and some passes. The final was 6-4. Would have been 7-4 if there was maybe another 2 seconds on the clock. They fired it down the ice and scored a couple seconds after the buzzer went. But, yeah, I mean, that was basically it. Well, so what are some takeaways from this game? Well, takeaway number 1 is that Jordan Harris has been awesome. He scored his first goal tonight on a really nice shot. On a broken play, he knew exactly where to be, and he put it home. Our power play looked good. We had that Anderson goal, but I think we were getting some good chances tonight. And our 5-on-5 work tonight was really awesome in a lot of cases. We were pressing for the whole game. We were really keeping Columbus on their back foot. The problem was, especially that Sean Kuraly goal, was just like so demoralizing because we had been pressing so well. We had Gallagher score a goal not too long before, and for him to just come and do that, it was, it felt like we were caught off balance just a few times while we were catching Columbus off balance more, but their defense was a little more solid than ours tonight, and Korpisalo was insane. I'm going to say it again. The man had, 42 shots against. I think he made 37 saves, so maybe not the best save percentage, but he had almost 40 saves, and he played well. But, Montreal's 5-on-5 was good. Our penalty kill was very solid again tonight. Our power play looked better. Jordan Harris was great. Our first line was solid. Like Kirby, Doc, Cole, Caulfield, and Suzuki. Even though really only Suzuki showed up on the score sheet tonight, I thought Doc did great tonight. He had a couple of interceptions that you might be able to see in the takeaways section if you look at the ESPN box score, or maybe even the NHL.com one. Caulfield had some great chances. He should have had a goal. He had a wide open net, and he missed it at one point in the game. And again, a slap shot that hit the shaft of Korpisalo's stick. First line was good. The Gallagher line was good tonight. Josh Anderson got a goal. Slavkovsky, quick hit on him right at the end of this video. I thought he played very well tonight. That fourth line, again, was not getting a ton of run, but we saw Slavkovsky. He got an assist tonight, which is awesome on that broken play. So Slavkovsky kind of to the center to Suzuki when Harris scored. But he played really well. He had some great board battles. He was in front of the net. He had a couple of really good chances to put it home, but his stick was tied up or the pass got tipped. He was in the right spots. He could have easily had a goal, even maybe two tonight, if a couple things went his way. But unfortunately, he was held off the goals column tonight again. But I think the big downfalls tonight was Sam Montembeault was not his best. He wasn't as good as we've seen him the rest of the season. He wasn't bad. I mean, two of those goals were very bad luck. I mean, the Corrali goal, nothing he can do after Corrali jumps through his defense. And the next Columbus goal had the other Columbus goal was like, what, a 3-on-2 or something, 3-on-1, and it was just passing play with no chance. So the goals that he let in were pretty much, no chance he could stop them. But, even if he saved that shot on the Olivier goal, a little bit better positioning so that top corner isn't there. Maybe this is a different game, but hard to put the blame on him. Hard to put the blame on anyone in particular because Montreal was scoring well. Our offense was rolling. I think if anything, maybe our defense could use a little bit of work. Maybe we could have blocked a few more shots tonight. It felt like we weren't blocking as many shots as usual. Felt like Columbus was getting maybe a little better of us in the offensive zone when it came to possession time. But yeah, I mean, a possession time at times, not over the whole game, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what we need to fix from tonight. Again, I think this is a good learning game. Jack, I got another fight, played pretty solid. I mean, I thought our defense core was just kind of not noticeable tonight, though. Not on the offensive end, not on the defensive end, minus maybe Harris and a bit of Kovacevic. So that's something that you learn. You move on to the next game, but this is one of those games where Montreal could have easily been the team with 6 goals. Unfortunately, it was Columbus that came out on top tonight, but Montreal did a lot of things right. Their offense looked good. Penalty kill looked good, and the main young guys that we're concerned about still looked good despite the loss. But that'll do it for this game reaction edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like. It helps us in the algorithm. Please subscribe. We want to hit 5,000 subscribers by the new year if we can. I don't see why not. We hit 2,000 in just about a month. Why can't we get another 3,000 in another month and a half? I've been your host, Josh Gosse. We'll catch you in the next video.